For Global Book Network, I'm Zach Feldman. Thanks so much for tuning in here on YouTube and on globalbooknetwork.tv. We're joined here right now by an author. Her name is Jill Nypower, and she has a brand new book out called Activation Codes for a Full Authenticity and Power. Jill, thanks so much for joining me here. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on your show today.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. And seriously, and by the way, happy birthday. I mean, that's incredible. It's literally your birthday as we talk here. I mean, what a great birthday present, honestly, to be here
Totally.
on Global Book Network. Tell me all about Activation Code for a Full Authenticity and Power.
Okay, well, it's about, I was like living a life, kind of like I was this bright light surrounded in darkness. And I was like always trying to escape. I was like, there's got to be a different way. Everyone was unhappy, and there's all this control, and I was people pleasing, and I was trying to give myself to everybody, but it was like it was never enough. And then I wasn't receiving back. And I'm like, this isn't working. I don't want to suffer. I don't want to be like these people. And so I started to go within. I started to, the kingdom of heaven is within you. And I started to read the Bible actually, and some of the scriptures I learned to decode them, to learn like it was a map of my internal body. And I learned, I'm the head, not the tail, and the lender, not the borrower. And so I started to write my own script, and I wanted to show other people how to get out of darkness, because I always had these big dreams and ideas, and I just loved people, but I was in an environment that I couldn't change my energy in. And that was the trick. I learned once I could change my energy, then I could change my reality. But when I was surrounded, in low dense energy or frequencies, I couldn't elevate from, right? And so I had to, learn how to stop reacting and stop feeding into that darkness and that negativity, and just kind of silently walk away and rebuild myself and shed layers of myself and stop shrinking myself to be something less than what I knew that I was meant to be. And so it was really about self-love, empowering myself, not believing the opinions of others, but believing what God said about me, believing who I know myself to be, and remembering who I am, and then waking other people up to activate them to remember who they are, so we can live the life of our dreams, because we all deserve to be happy and free.
Of
And
course,
that's why I
and
wrote
that's
my
such a
book.
great. Yeah, and you wrote a bunch of books too.
Yeah,
You wrote
pretty
three
much.
different books too. I mean, one obviously being like just a great inspirational power trip. But this one specifically, being able to get past trauma is such a difficult task for a lot of people out there. So what's your advice, for those who are struggling right now?
For me, it was really about seeing the good in the bad. I had to learn how to transmute the energy. So when I had negative energy at me, how can I learn from this? How can I use this for my advantage? What is the lesson here to learn? So I started to look at everything as like life is a school, and I'm here to grow and to evolve. And if I don't change the way that I'm being, I will never get a different result. So where am I being stuck? What can I do differently to get a different result? And that's how you start. You start looking at your patterns. What are you doing on a daily basis? Who are you surrounded with? What are you putting your energy into? Is it draining you, or is it depositing you? Is it lifting you up and encouraging you, or is it pulling you down? And my whole journey has been about, no, like I'm going to feed people, places, and things that make me feel good, that make me feel alive. And when I was in around people that were complaining or unhappy, it was just pulling me down and draining me. And I started to feel internally what was going on. And so I started to separate myself from that and detaching from energies that kept me stuck, that kept me at a low frequency. And so the first question you have to ask is, where am I stuck? And what can I do right now differently? And start seeing the good in the bad. And it's tricky. It's hard. Like, it's not easy, but there's always positive and negative. So you can always find a positive in the negative. And if you can look at the glass as half full instead of half empty, you will always find a way out.
Did you always have this passion to kind of help people? Like, where did this passion come from?
Always. I have always had this bright light and this love for people, big heart. I had horrible things happen to me, but I kept my heart open. And that was the key. If you keep your heart open, you stay connected to source. You keep your grounding. And when you're connected to source, you're available for downloads, for inspiration, to see beyond
Yeah.
your normal vision is, and elevating through meditation, like getting above that lower mind, getting above the pleasure center, the greed, the neediness, the being stuck in because if I don't take control over my mind, it's going to control me, and I'm just going to regurgitate in stories that aren't going to get me to go anywhere. So I learned to elevate and go above the mind so I could
Yeah.
get clarity. A lot of times we do things to escape from our mind, but meditation is a positive way to escape from your mind, and you get revelation when you do that. And that's when I was able to unlock my mind, expand my consciousness, and really be able to show other people how to look within instead of going outside of ourselves and running in circles and being exhausted.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, it's a struggle when you don't know how to be positive in life. I mean, I know so many people who are so negative and so mean and just annoying. It doesn't make for a good life or a good work balance or anything like that, you know. So I think it's really great that you're sharing this positivity to everybody who's reading your books too. You have 3 books released now. Healing and Code to Enlightenment, being an apology to you, or something like that. But read it to me. But I think it's really, I think it's really great that you've kind of opened up this chapter where you're producing all this positivity. When you do your research on these topics, I mean, what are you kind of going for? Where are you looking when it comes down to
I
making these
just follow Holy Spirit. I meditate a lot. I scroll a little bit, or I ask questions. What do I need to learn? I'm very intentional every day of guide my steps, my actions. How can I shine bright? How can I make a difference? How can I lift people up? Show me what to learn, what to do, what to see, and really practicing my gratitude, right? Keeping my mind opening, knowing that I don't know anything. It's when I think that I know everything, or that I'm better, that keeps me stuck. But if I can always just learn from people and listen with ears to listen, and eyes to see, instead of just my limited perception,
yeah.
because I suffered so much in my life. I took all my experiences and I put them together, and I learned and studied people. And so that's why I teach what I teach now, because I learned how people operate, how they think, how they see the world. And I was able to take everyone's different perspectives and unlock myself. So all of our DNA inside, we have codes inside of us, and we can activate them and remember who we are, and all the answers are within. We think to look outside of us, but when you start to meditate, then things just come to you. You start attracting, not chasing, and then you just know what to talk about. You'll get an idea that pops in your head, and you'll just flow on that. Or somebody will mention something, and you'll be like, yeah, that's a good quote, or that's a good idea. And you'll just and you just it's a flow, right? You got to get into flow, but you got to be connected with yourself. And the way to connect is through meditation.
That's awesome. And also through poetry too, because you are a poet yourself. You've made so much poetry in the past too. I mean, you were kind of like the I guess the silhouette artist of poetry in a sense. Tell me a little about your experience in writing in poetry. I mean, is it such a difference from actually writing books?
It was healing for me. It was like, okay, so I'm struggling with this. Let's write about it. Let's see the good in it. And I was taught at a young age to not speak out loud, to not feel my feelings, but to carry other people's feelings. And so I started to learn to, you know, uh, start to talk about what was bothering me, and getting it out, and feeling the feelings and letting them come up and out so I could elevate. Because it's when we don't acknowledge our feelings that get stuck and we get suppressed. And a lot of us are taught, oh, we're not, suck it up, we're not supposed to feel it. But then we're running. We're not actually, little kids, they cry, they get upset, they let it go, and then they're free. And then they're off, and they're light, right? I want to be light in my body. I don't want to be weighed down with wearing a mask, or heaviness of things I haven't dealt with. So it's really about a life of reflection, is being a mirror to other people, and then being a mirror to myself. What's your energy? What's mine? What are my projections, and what are other people's? What am I taking on that's not mine? What are theirs? I am like all about transformation, asking questions, going deep, and writing to how I can lift people up, how I can teach them something, how I can elevate myself, how I can be a blueprint so other people can be free and live the life they dreams. And so I just pretty much said, God, what do I do? He said, write. I started to sit down, and all of the experience from within me started to come up, and I just started to write it all out.
That's awesome. And you wrote a poem inside. I think it was being unapologetically you. That was just incredible. Can you share a little bit about that?
This latest book or a poem right now
Oh,
that
I
I
think
wrote?
which one was the one you wanted to? Would you want to discuss? I think it was the.
Yeah, I just wrote a new poem. I thought
Oh, you wrote a new one. Oh,
a
I'm
new
sorry.
one. I thought
Yeah,
I'd
tell
just
me
throw it
about the
out
new
there.
one. I want to hear about it. Yeah, please.
Okay. It's called Truth in Darkness.
Yeah.
I was a bright light that people tried to bury, also a seed planted in darkness, but to fight no matter what people tried to have me carry. The matrix I was born into functioned from fear, but my purpose was to hold the light so others could choose love instead of fear here. Are you tired of running in circles? I was, so I went within to elevate above the hurdles. I was supposed to be helped and embraced, but instead people dinned me and said I was a disgrace. They wanted me to be less than, feel small, and beg for love. I people pleased for a while, but you can't make people love you. I only had self love and help from God above. Tired of being mishandled, used, and abused, I chose myself. That was the best thing I did. Real self help. See, I knew the law about reaping and sowing, and everyone was an extension of me. We're all connected, not separate, was my knowing. I came to earth carrying a light, elevation, a mirror. But people ran and mistreated me and tried to make me feel small out of fear. I said yes to the higher calling, even when it hurt. I stayed pure when it would have been easy to compromise. My frequency hurts. I chose to be kind when bitterness would have been accepted, but I kept believing and building even when discarded and neglected. I walked out of the darkness and elevated high above. It made the people with titles intimidated because I held real power with love. People high up could have helped me, but they wanted me to fall. All because my presence made them feel small. I was the one they counted out, mocked, and abandoned, never praised or invited to their table, but I still existed. They didn't understand it. I was unshaken, unstoppable, and not picked by man. I was chosen by God, and they hated it. They tried to stop me with their hand. I reminded them of something titles couldn't give them, a ranking that carried weight. When they studied the scriptures, I became the scripture, a prophecy fate. No weapon formed against me will prosper if they only join me instead of trying to stop her. They tried magic, manipulation, control, and mockery on me, but all that did was show me their true colors and how they really chose to be. So I healed and clapped for myself and built my own table. The more people attacked me, the more I became free and stable. See, purity and resilience always wins over manipulation and false crowns. Peace and joy with real power echoes, ripples without needing sound. I didn't care for audience rituals or fake validation. I earned my crown with fire, prayers, sweat, and tears, not persuasion. They know I'm here on assignment and not for play. I'm just trying to bring awareness so we can connect in love at the end of the day. We were born to stand tall, not bow to others. We are not slaves. We are equal, sisters and brothers. Yet they smiled in pity and pride, thinking they wrote my ending. But I'm the author and the one ascending. Worthiness isn't performance, it's perseverance. And people got mad when they saw through their mask, their true appearance. I don't conform or buy into fear or doubt. I'm not feeding the illusions. I figured them out. People only have power if you believe in their stories. I'd rather walk in truth and awaken people with love and God's glory. The truth is, people will try everything to break your spirit and make you feel down. But don't let them divide us. Stop feeding energy and the lies like a politician's promise, the news with this sound. Disconnect from manipulation and systems that watch them unravel and expose themselves while you keep your crown. Lies can't stand in the presence of truth. Their faulty foundation crumbles from your light and your innocence you kept since your youth. Think critically and refuse to conform. Stand in stillness, and you will become the peace in the storm. People have the right to be free and create a life of their choosing. We will not be controlled, our energy siphoned anymore. We will not be losing. We need to open our hearts and take accountability for the good and where we are hurtful or using and abusing. We all must face the mirror of our own making, take off the mask, and face our fears instead of hating. Never stop believing in you. You are love. And when you love you, you are worthy of receiving it too.
Hell yeah. Woo!
Thanks.
I feel already positive. I feel already, like I can rule the world from that. So thank you.
You can.
Jill, what is next for you? Obviously you've written 3 books, you got this new one out here. But what is the main goal really?
Well, like I always thought big and dreamed big. I wanted to be a model and I wanted to be on TV, and I got rejected a lot, so I created my own channel and I just started to do it anyway, and I refused to accept saying no, and I kept believing in
Hell
myself.
yeah.
And now I'm connecting with people and bringing awareness and sharing my light with other people so we can believe in each other and connect in love. But I really think that, I've been doing kind of these podcasts and stuff, and maybe do my own. They're trying to tell me to maybe do that, but I'm just trusting that I'm following the direction, and I wouldn't mind. I always thought I'd want to do commercials or stuff like that, but I like to be the authentic me. I like to be the real me, and I want other people to be the real them and to do what they like. And so I'm just kind of trusting each day. I'm living in the unknown, in the adventure, and we'll see where it comes. As long as I'm helping people, lifting people up, and shining my light, that's what matters.
I love that about you, and I love that about your books too. I mean, it's just so great to see someone who's so positive. Jill Nypower, thank you so much for coming here on Global Book Network. It
Thanks for
was really
having
such
me.
a pleasure talking to you. And seriously, check out her new book, Activation Codes for a Full Authenticity and Power. It's available now on Amazon. And check out all her 3 books too, as well. They're all there on
You can also get
Amazon.
from my website, JillNypower.com, www.JillNypower.com. Or you can also email me if you're looking for collaborations or personal life coaching at JillNypower@gmail.com.
Or if you're just looking for some positivity in your email, for sure. I mean, you are glowing. Seriously, thank you so much for
Thanks for
coming on
having me.
here, and best of luck with everything. I'm Zach Feldman. Thanks again for watching here on Global Book Network.